Hi, I'm Pat Halpin, and welcome to this special edition of Meet the Leaders, coming to you from Albany, the capital of the state of New York. We've been joined by Nader, who is a newly elected Assembly member from Westchester County, Yonkers,
New York.
Yonkers in particular.
That's right.
Well, welcome.
It's my pleasure to be in Altice.
So you come at a time when history is being made.
It is.
We have the first woman ever in the history of the state of New York elected as the majority leader of the state senate, who also happens to come from York County.
Well, she's also from Yonkers, Honorable State Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, and I took the seat of now Senator Shelley Mayer. So we actually have two state senators from the city of Yonkers. So we're looking forward. This is historical. We think it's a session that will bring about major changes in New York. And I'd like to, and looking forward to be a part of that change.
Well, you will be a part of it, certainly,
I will.
As a member of the Assembly. But from your perspective, what are some of the top priorities, the changes that in the past perhaps have been bottled up by the Republican Senate, that you want to see happen this year?
Well, for me, being from Yonkers, New York, Yonkers, as you know, is the fourth largest city in New York State, over 200,000 people. And one of the biggest issues impacting our city is what we consider to be a lack of proper educational funding. The Yonkers Public School system that educates about 27,000 children feels very shortchanged. The funding formula that we feel is largely based on the wealth of the county you're in really disenfranchises Yonkers and our students. As you know, urban school districts like Yonkers have high numbers of English language learners and special ed children, and we have older buildings and many other needs that require proper funding. Yonkers has a shortfall of about $5,000 per child in state funding every year. So when you look at the $5,000 shortfall times 27,000 children,
year after
it's major.
year after year, that has a significant impact.
And the good thing is New Jersey recently, about maybe 7 months ago, Governor Murphy changed the entire New Jersey educational funding formula. So we feel it's doable, so the old dogma of it can't be changed. And I'm here to focus hard on changing the formula. It really impacts us as a city in a very negative way, and it puts a lot of negative impact on our public schools and really disenfranchises our students.
And ultimately, they are our future. I mean, I know that is a cliche, a platitude, but it is true.
That's true.
And they come here, and, as you say, English language learners, but they do learn English, and they learn it pretty quickly.
They do learn, and
they're strivers.
And they are. I as an educator, I was a school principal for over 30 years in the Yonkers schools and served as a Board of Ed trustee for 6 years, served on the Big 5 school districts boards. And so I've become very familiar with urban education and what we need, the tools that teachers and administrators need in school districts to really provide proper education. Yonkers has been fortunate to have about an 86% graduation rate, which is above the state average.
Yes, it is.
It is. And so at this stage, as far as the educational issue, it's really looking for fairness and funding and making sure that every child has an opportunity.
And as you know, as an educator, the key to a high-quality education is really a great building principal who's the leader.
That's right.
Great teachers, parents who are involved.
That's right.
And ongoing support to continue to strive to continuously improve. And that just doesn't happen. You have to have the resources behind it.
You have to have the resources. Very often the state may place what we call unfunded mandates on school districts, and it's costly. And very often, as you know, having served in government, nearly 80% of the budget is really labor, cost, and fringe benefits.
That's right.
So when you get these cuts or the lack of services, then you're forced to resort to cuts in music and art and sports and library services. And that's where you cause a major deficiency for children.
And those are always the things that become the great opportunity for kids, especially from different parts of the world, to assimilate.
Exactly.
They're in the marching band together.
Sure.
They're playing the sports together. They're participating in arts as well as the coursework.
Sure.
So all of that is what makes this person, individual, and the school a place where everybody gets a quality education.
Well, you're right.
So education is important, but there are also other big issues coming
issues.
up. So, for example, the State Assembly last year passed congestion pricing.
Correct.
And of course, transportation, public transportation, MTA is something that's important
It's
to people
very
in Westchester.
important.
What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I was part of the Westchester delegation recently that went into the underground. The MTA arranged a tour underneath practically the middle of New York City on a flatbed provided by the MTA with hard hats on. We went under the underground to look at the conditions of the underground, and it really needs major improvement. I mean, there's many areas you can see the deterioration in the steel structures and so forth. I'm an advocate of improved mass transportation, and then pricing, I believe, encourages individuals for the utilization of mass transportation.
Well, it will change behavior.
Yeah, it changes. It's a change. You know, it's a conditioning process.
Yes.
People that say, well, I need to take my car down, I feel more safe, more secure. And then once they take a bus or a subway or a train down, they do it a few times and they come back and say, this is really convenient. I don't have to worry about parking. I don't have to worry about paying tolls. And the whole theme behind that, as you said, is develop a whole new appreciation for mass transportation. Make it work for you. I think it improves the environment, improves the traffic and the air pollution. So there's many benefits, and it really develops a new source of revenue, I believe, that we can hopefully place in education.
Well, and the MTA is going to need billions of dollars.
Correct.
To address the very things that you saw. And I'm sure you only saw a small percentage
portion, yeah.
of the need, but it is significant.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting year. So
It
you have
is.
the Democrats controlling the Senate. It sounds to me like you're very optimistic about being part
yeah.
of leading the change and also staying focused on what's really important.
Well, New York, has really taken the lead on many progressive issues, and having the uniformity at this stage of a majority, Democrat majority, in the Assembly and Senate and at the governor's seat really gives us the opportunity, at this point of saying there's really no excuses. As long as you put your heads together, you work together. And I'm not talking about just a Democrat agenda. I think, once we're elected to office, we are elected to serve the people.
It is the New York agenda.
It's the New York agenda. So you really you're there to represent your entire district and the entire state, and do what's in the best interest of the state.
Assemblyman, Happy New Year. Thanks for coming by.
And a Happy New Year to you, Pat. Thank you very much. Looking forward.
My pleasure. Sit tight. Thanks for watching. I'm Pat Halpin. We'll see you again next time.